Okay, children. So what all things we have learned in the last class? Malavika, can you tell me what all topics?
Ma'am, mole concept, atomic mass, molecular mass, empirical formula, and molecular formula, and the calculation of it.
Okay, fine. So, Ellen Joshi, what do you mean by this atomic mass?
Ma'am, it's mass of an atom.
Okay, mass of an atom of an element. Can you tell me the atomic mass of oxygen?
16.
Very good. Then, Anila, can you tell me the atomic mass of sodium? Sodium.
32.
Isn't it? It's sulfur. Sodium.
42. 14.
No. In between 20 and 30.
23.
It's 23. Okay. Reem Fatima, can you tell me the atomic mass of chlorine?
35.5.
Very good. 35.5. Lakshmi, what about the atomic mass of nitrogen?
14.
Yes, it's 14. Then atomic mass of sulfur. John Joes, can you tell me?
32.
32. Okay. Then what about the difference between atomic mass and molecular mass? Alanjina, can you tell me?
Atomic mass is the mass of an atom, while molecular mass is the sum of atomic masses of elements in a molecule.
Very good, very good. Then we had discussed about mole concept, right? Who proposed this Avogadro's number? Niranjan? Yes? Yes? Avogadro, right? What's its full name? I told you it was a nice name. Amedeo Avogadro. Okay. It's okay. Then what about the value of this Avogadro number, Dia? Yes? What about the value of Avogadro number? Yes, it is 6 point.
6.02 into 10 raised to 23.
23. Okay, you have to remember this value of Avogadro constant. It's important. Okay, then what's the difference between molecular formula and empirical formula? Eva, can you tell me? Unmute. Yes.
Ma'am, empirical formula represents the simplest whole number ratio of various atoms present in a compound. And molecular formula shows the exact number of different types of atoms present in the molecule of a compound.
Then today we are going to learn another topic. First one is limiting reagent. Okay. Limiting reagent. You can write the heading, limiting reagent. We know that the reactants are converted to products, right? Reactants are converted to products. The reactant which gets consumed first and limits the amount of product formed, it is called the limiting reagent. Okay. The reactant which gets consumed first, it limits the amount of product formed, it is called the limiting reagent. When you are considering this N2 plus H2 giving NH3. Okay, this is a chemical reaction. Here nitrogen reacts with hydrogen to form ammonia, right? If any one of this reactant, okay, if nitrogen or hydrogen, which will get consumed first, that means if you are considering this nitrogen, it gets consumed first. Then only hydrogen is there, right? When the nitrogen gets consumed first, only hydrogen is here, right? So it will limit the amount of product. This ammonia will be only produced when nitrogen and hydrogen are in sufficient amounts. If this nitrogen, it gets consumed first, what happens? It limits the amount of product formed. No more ammonia will be generated there. So this nitrogen, it is considered as the limiting reagent in this particular chemical reaction. This is clear? The reactant, yes.
Will you
Emily?
repeat again? Will you repeat it?
Sure. The reactant which gets consumed first and it limits the amount of product formed, it is called limiting reagent. We are just considering this chemical reaction, N2 plus H2 giving NH3. And if this nitrogen, it is in limited amount or small amount, what happens? It will be get consumed first, right? Then after some time only hydrogen remains in that reaction. So it will not able to produce ammonia because nitrogen and hydrogen, both reactants are needed to produce this ammonia. Okay. So the reactant which get consumed first and limits the amount of products formed, it is called a limiting reagent. So in this case, this nitrogen, it is the limiting reagent. It will limit the amount of product formed. Because these two reactants are necessary for the chemical reaction to take place. If nitrogen is not there, it will not happen, right? This is clear, children?
Yes, ma'am.
All of you? Yes, right?
Yes,
Yes, Abhinav, can you read the definition of this limiting reagent?
Yes, ma'am. Limiting reagent. The reactant which gets consumed first limits the amount of product formed is called the limiting amount of product formed.
Oh, okay. It is called the limiting reagent. Okay, Sarah. In this chemical reaction, which one is the limiting reagent?
N2.
Very good. It's N2. In the case of the production of ammonia, this nitrogen gas, it is the limiting reagent. So I think this one will be clear for you, right? Any doubt? Pooja? What do you mean by this limiting reagent?
The reactant which get consumed first limits the amount of product formed.
Okay, it is known as limiting reagent. Okay, then we are moving to the next topic. That is the concentration in solution. Okay, the concentration in solution. How can we define the concentration of a solution? Concentration of a solution. Anyone, please define the concentration of a solution.
Ma'am, the amount of solvent in a solution.
Solute.
Solute, sorry, solute.
Okay, okay. The amount of solute present in that solution, it is the concentration of that solution. Okay, if you are considering this sugar solution, which one is the solute and which one is the solvent? Jewel, can you tell me?
Sugar is the solute.
Yes. Then which one is the solvent?
Water is a solvent.
Yes, water is the solvent. So the amount of sugar present in that solution, it will be considered as the concentration of that solution. Clear? Then there are different methods to measure this concentration of solution. Okay, there are different methods to find out the concentration of solutions. So the next topic, we are going to learn about this different methods. Concentrations in solution. Okay, I told you the definition of concentration of a solution. It is the amount of solute present in that solution. The amount of solute present in that solution. In the case of sugar solution, the amount of sugar present in that sugar solution. If it is in the case of salt solution, the amount of salt present in that solution. Okay, then there are different methods to calculate or measure the concentration of solution. First method is mass percent. First method is mass percent. And the second one is mole fraction. Mole fraction. Third one is molarity. Molarity. And the fourth one, it is molality. Only the difference in one alphabet. First one is molarity. Next one is molality. Okay. And this one will be always represented as, just 1 minute. capital M. Okay. For molarity, we will write this capital M, and molality, it is small letter m. Clear? So these are the 4 different ways to measure the concentration of a solution, or the concentration can be expressed in these 4 methods. First one, it is mass percent. Second one, mole fraction. Third one, molarity. And the fourth one is molality. And here it is the equation for find out the concentration of solute. We know that the solute and solvent, they mix together to form solution, right? So the amount of solute present in that solvent or solution, it is the concentration. Okay, and in this example, we just take sucrose. That means stable sugar, okay, or a sugar cube. It is just dissolved in this water and sugar solution will be formed, right? And here the solvent is water and the solute is sucrose or table sugar. Clear? So tell me, which are the different methods to express the concentration of a solution? Sarah, not Sarah. Gaia, Mary, can you tell me?
Mass, percent, mole fraction, molarity, and molality.
Molarity, molality. Okay, then we can learn each one. First one, it is mass percentage. Okay, mass percentage. Before that, in the last class, we had learned about this percentage composition. What's the equation to find out the percentage composition?
Mass of element by mass of a compound.
Yes, then into this percentage
100,
composition
100.
into 100, right? Yes. Here in this case also the same equation for mass percent. Mass percentage of a compound is given by the formula. It is mass of the element by the total mass of the compound into 100. Okay. Mass of the element divided by total mass of the compound into 100. It is similar to that of percentage composition. Okay. Percentage composition. Adulya, what's the equation to find out the mass percent?
Mass of the element by total mass of the compound into 100.
Okay. Then this mass percentage, it is used by only binary solutions. What do you mean by binary solutions? Binary.
Ma'am, are there solutions with only the solute and solvent?
That means only two components are there. It is known as binary solution. Okay, 2 components are there. It is known as binary solution. So this mass percentage, it is used by only binary solutions. It is used for calculation of very small quantities. It is used for the calculation of very small quantities. So mainly this equation of this mass percentage, it is mass of element by total mass of compound into 100. And this mass percentage, it is used by only binary solutions. And it is used for the calculation of very small quantities. Very small quantities. Clear? This is clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, then we can do one question based on this mass percent. Okay. Shall I stop sharing?
No, ma'am.
Okay, then you can complete. Anjana, can you please read the slide?
Mass percentage of a compound is given by the formula mass percentage of element is equal to mass of element by total mass of compound into 100. Okay. Mass percentage is used by only binary solutions. It is used for calculation of very small quantities.
Okay. Finished, children?
Yes, ma'am.
All of you, right? Okay. Then you can write the question. A solution is prepared by a solution is prepared by the solution is prepared by all of you, please switch on your videos. Okay. The solution is prepared by adding
Ma'am,
to
can you
the,
repeat the question?
yes. A solution is prepared by adding 2 gram of a substance, 2 gram of a substance A, capital letter A, to 18 gram of water, to 18 gram of water. Calculate the mass percent of the solute. Calculate the mass percent of the solute. Okay, that's the question. You can do that. It's very simple one, right?
Repeat the question.
Sure. A solution is prepared by adding 2 gram of a substance A to 18 gram of water. Okay, 18 gram of water. Calculate the mass percent of the solute. Calculate the mass percentage of the solute. Naureen, can you tell me the value of mass of solute? Mass of solute. From this question. Yes?
2 gram.
Yes, it's 2 gram, right? Then what about the mass of solution? Aditya Dev, can you tell me the mass of solution?
18 gram.
That's the mass of the solvent, right?
20 gram.
Yes, 18 plus 2. You have to add this solute, mass of the solute and solvent. Here, water is the solvent. So, you have to add this mass of solute and solvent to get the mass of solution. Okay. Clear? So, the mass of the solution, that is 20 gram. You can directly substitute these values into that equation and find out the mass percentage. Basma, any doubt? Okay. Finished? Shabarinath, finished?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay. What about others? All of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. John Philip, can you tell me? What about the value of this mass percentage of solute?
10%.
Yeah, that's right. 10%. All of you get the same answer?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Just wait. So here, the mass of solute is 2 gram. Then the mass of solution (2 plus 18), that is equal to 20 gram. Then the mass percent of solute. That's equal to mass of solute divided by mass of solution into 100. That is equal to 2 divided by 20 into 100. 10%. This is clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So you have to note one point. Do not substitute the value of mass of solvent. It is mass of solution. Okay. So you have to add the mass of solute and solvent to get the mass of solution. Clear? Shall I move to next method? Yes, right? All of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay. Then the next method, that is mole fraction. Mole fraction. It is mole fraction. That's the second method to express the concentration. Mole fraction. So this mole fraction, it is defined as the ratio of number of moles of a particular component to the total number of moles of the solution. Okay? It is defined as the just wait. Okay, so mole fraction. It is defined as the ratio of number of moles of a particular component to the total number of moles of the solution. Here we are considering the ratio of number of moles, not the mass. Here the number of moles. Okay, which letter used to represent the number of moles? Number of moles.
Na.
N is Avogadro's number, capital N, then subscript A. Number of moles.
N.
N, small letter N, okay? Small letter N, it is used to represent the number of moles. So here the small fraction, it is defined as the ratio of number of moles of a particular component to the total number of moles of the solution. So if we are considering a substance A dissolves in substance B, okay? Substance A, it is dissolved in substance B. Their number of moles are Na. Here Na. This A stands for the solute A. Okay. Not the Avogadro number. N stands for number of moles and A for the substance A. Okay. Then number of moles of the component B, it is Nb. Na for number of moles of A. Nb for number of moles of B. Then the mole fraction of A and B are given as X. X is the symbol that is used to represent mole fraction. X. XA for the component A and XB for the component B. Clear? If a substance A dissolves in component B or the substance B, number of moles of A, that is Na, number of moles of B, that is Nb, and the mole fraction of A, it is Xa, mole fraction of B, that is Xb. We can write the equation. Is this image clear for you?
Yes.
All of you. I'm asking about this equation. Is this clear? Okay, I will write it in another board. Just wait. Xa, that is equal to, here in the definition, it is the ratio of number of moles of that component to the total number of moles, right? Ratio of number of moles of that component to the total number of moles. So in the case of mole fraction of A, that is Xa is equal to number of moles of that component, that is Na, divided by the total number of moles, Na plus Nb. Na plus Nb. Clear? Then the mole fraction of the component B, XB is equal to NB divided by Na plus NB. Clear? These are the two equations to find out the mole fraction of component A and component B. XA that is equal to Na divided by Na plus Nb. Then XB that is equal to Nb divided by Na plus Nb. This is clear?
Okay.
There is one more thing. Always this XA plus XB that is equal to 1. Okay? The sum of the mole fraction of these two components always equal to 1. XA plus XB, that is the mole fraction of A plus mole fraction of B, that is equal to 1. So you will get the values always less than 1 for this mole fraction of A and mole fraction of B because its sum is always 1. This is clear? Mole fraction?
Yes, ma'am.
Rose, can you tell me the definition of mole fraction?
It is defined as the ratio of number of moles of a particular component to the total number of moles of a solution.
Okay. Which letter is used to represent the number of moles? Tom Sinton?
N.
N. Okay. If the component is A, it is Na, and if the component is B, it is Nb. Then which letter used to represent the mole fraction, Tushar?
X.
X. Okay. Then what's the equation to find out the mole fraction of component A, Emmeline?
Will you repeat the question?
Yes. What's the equation to find out the mole fraction of component A?
Na divided by Na plus Nb.
Yes. Xa is equal to Na divided by Na plus Nb. Okay.
Ma'am,
Then
can
we
you show the previous slide? The
means equation.
definition.
The definition. Okay, sure, sure. Okay, then you can complete it. Navneet, can you please read this definition of mole fraction?
It is defined as the ratio of number of moles of a particular component to the total number of moles of the solution.
Okay. Faiz? Faiz, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, can you please read the continuation of this definition? If a substance, starting from there.
If a substance A dissolves in substance B and their number of moles are Na and Nb respectively, then the mole fraction of A and B are given as Xa and Xb.
Okay. Then the equation Xa is equal to Na by Na plus Nb. Then Xb that is equal to Nb by Na plus Nb. And in the case of this mole fraction, they have no units. Okay, they have no units. Only need to represent that number. That's enough. Finished?
Yes, ma'am.
All of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, then we are moving to the another method to express the concentration. That is molarity. That is molarity. Which letter used to represent molarity?
Capital M.
Yes, very good. It's capital M. So it is the most widely used unit and it is denoted by M, capital M. And it is defined as the number of moles of the solute in 1 liter of the solution. Okay. It is the number of moles of the solute in 1 liter of the solution. Clear? It is the amount of number of moles of solute in 1 liter of the solution. Therefore, the equation becomes molarity, that is equal to number of moles of solute divided by volume of solution. Okay, volume of solution in liters. Volume of solution in liters. This is the third method to find out the concentration of the solution. The number of moles of solute in 1 liter of the solution. So can you guess what about its unit? Here it is moles of the solute divided by volume of solution. So what will be the unit? What's the unit of moles? Number of moles of solute? Anyone? Number of moles of solute. It is mole. Okay. The unit of number of moles of solute, it is mole. And the volume of solution, it is liter. So here, the unit of molarity, it is mole per liter. Mole per liter. Clear? The unit of molarity. Mole per liter. So this is the third method to express the concentration of a solution. It is the most widely used unit and it is denoted by capital letter M. It is defined as the number of moles of the solute in 1 liter of the solution. And it is equation molarity, that is equal to number of moles of solute divided by volume of solution in liters. Okay, it's always in liters. If in the question it is given in milliliter, you have to convert it into liter. Okay. This is clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Jewel, can you please
Yes,
use
ma'am.
the slide? Yes.
It is the most widely unit, and it is denoted by M.
Okay.
It is defined as the number of moles of solute in 1 liter of solution. Therefore, molarity equal to moles of solute by volume of solution.
Yeah, volume of solution in liter. You can also add this point. Unit of molarity, that is mole per liter. Okay, mole per liter. Also, we can use capital letter M. Okay, you can also use capital letter M. This is clear, children?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, then we can do one problem based on this molarity. You can write the question. Calculate the molarity of NaOH solution prepared by, calculate the molarity of NaOH solution prepared by dissolving it's 4 gram in enough water, 4 gram in enough water.
Ma'am, could you repeat it once more?
Yes. Calculate the molarity of NaOH solution prepared by dissolving it 4 gram in dissolving its 4 gram in enough water, 4 gram in enough water to form 250 milliliter of the solution. 250 milliliter of the solution. That's the question. So you have to calculate the molarity of NaOH in the solution prepared by dissolving its 4 gram in enough water to form 250 milliliter of the solution. So first you have to write what all things given in the question. Okay, what all things given in the question. First you can write mass of solute, given mass of solute. Given mass of solute. What about the value? Which one is the solute here?
NaOH solution.
NaOH. What about the value? Mass of
4.
NaOH, 4 gram, right? Then what all things given in the question? Volume, right? Volume of solution. What about the volume?
250 ml.
Okay, 250 ml. So we have to convert first this milliliter into liter. 1 liter is equal to how much milliliter?
1000.
Yes, 1000. Here it is given as 250 milliliter. How can we convert it into liter? Tell me.
Divided by 1000.
Yes. So you can convert it by 250 ml divided by 1000. 3 decimal places. So 0.250 liter. Then what's the equation to find out the molarity? G, tell me. What about the equation to find out this molarity?
Moles of solute by volume of solution.
Okay. Number of moles of solute divided by volume of solution. Now you get the value of volume of solution. It is 0.250 liter. Then here the given mass of solute is given. It is 4 gram. Then what about the number of moles of solute? How can we find out the number of moles of solute? The equation is given mass divided by molar mass. Given mass divided by molar mass. What's the molar mass of this NaOH? Here the solute is NaOH. How can we find out the molar mass of NaOH? This symbol or equal to that of molecular mass. Okay, molecular mass. You know the value of atomic masses of sodium, oxygen, hydrogen. So you can just add that values. What's the atomic mass of sodium?
23.
Yes, it's 23. Then what about oxygen?
16.
It's 16. What about hydrogen?
1.
1. Then just add these values. This equal to
40 gram.
Yes, 40. Then you can directly substitute here. Given mass by molar mass, it is 4 by 40. And what's the value?
0.1.
It is 0.1 mole. Okay. Now you get the value of number of moles of solute. It is equal to 0.1 mole. Then the volume of solution, that is equal to 0.250 liter. Okay, then you can directly substitute here 0.1 divided by 0.250. Okay, children, what about the value? This 0.4, right? 0.4 mole per liter, isn't it? Okay, so we can discuss one more method in the next class. Okay? Okay, just 1 minute. Let me take your attendance. Okay, then thank you all. All of you, please read this portion very well for the next class. Okay? Okay, thank you all. See you in the next class. Bye.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.